Over the last few months, our government is increasingly concerned about Iran. In fact, in May, the State Department released its country reports on terrorism, pointing to, quote, a marked resurgence of Iran's state sponsorship of terrorism through its Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the Quds Force. This resurgence is something our government says we haven't really seen since the 1990s. And speaking of the election, here's what's interesting. 4 of the candidates running for president of Iran are former high-ranking officers of the Revolutionary Guard. Mark Dubowitz is executive director of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. And Mark, when we say terrorism, people might think Al-Qaeda right away. Tell us more about the Revolutionary Guard. Who are they? What do we have to fear here?
Hi, Jenna. Well, the Revolutionary Guards are a terrorist organization declared as such by the U.S. government in 2007. They're the most deadly terrorist organization in the world that most people have never heard of. And they've been responsible for numerous terrorist attacks around the world in places like Georgia, India, Thailand, Azerbaijan, Cyprus, Bulgaria. These were attempted plots or successful attacks. They also tried to blow up a Georgetown restaurant in Washington, D.C. to hit the Saudi ambassador. And they're a deadly organization led by deadly men.
Interesting to hear the State Department come out and say, listen, we haven't seen this since the 1990s, this sort of resurgence. We've talked a lot about the nuclear program in Iran, and that's something we're continuing to watch. So what do you make of these things happening now at the same time? A continued trek, if you will, towards nuclear power in Iran, as well as this resurgence of this terrorist group?
Well, the State Department declared actually 2012 as the year of Iranian terrorism. And it's not a coincidence that 2012 was also the year that saw the greatest leap forward in Iran's nuclear weapons program. And it all comes down to the Revolutionary Guards. They control the nuclear program. They're responsible for overseas terrorist operations. And there are 3 men in Iran that you need to pay attention to. They're not the presidential candidates. They're Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, the head of the Revolutionary Guards, General Jafari, and the head of the Revolutionary Guard's overseas terrorist unit, the Quds Force, General Soleimani. These are the 3 most powerful and most deadly men in Iran, and they've got terrorism in their DNA.
What do they want?
Well, what they want is they want to inflict serious damage against the United States. They want to kill a lot of Americans, a lot of Israelis. They want to have regional power and global power, and they believe a nuclear weapon will give them.
What do you
You've seen all this terrorism.
If I could, Mark, real quick, I only have a minute here, but one of the things we saw in the NSA story and that leaked information is that we're actually doing, according to the leaker, the most surveillance on Iran. And that's kind of gotten lost in the mix. What do you make of that leaked information? And does that mean that we're on this problem or we're not on this problem?
Well, first of all, thanks to that leaker, the Iranians now know that we're on this problem. And I think that we're obviously spending a lot of U.S. resources on signal intelligence, on human intelligence, trying to penetrate this very dangerous and opaque regime. We now have an election which is really a charade. It doesn't matter who wins. If the Revolutionary Guards win, they will control Iran. If the moderate cleric wins, the Revolutionary Guards will control Iran. At the end of the day, this is not an election. It's a selection by one man, Ali Khamenei, and his 2 Revolutionary Guards compatriots.
Mark, great to see you as always. We're going to continue to talk a lot more about this. Thanks for the time today.
Thanks, Jenna.
And we'll be right back with more happening now.